Welcome to the Tailgate Debate. You're here with Anthony, Zach, Jamie, and Earl.
Hey, what's up, fellas? All right, this is episode 2. Anthony, I'm here with Zach and James, or Jamie. So in episode 1, we went through the Tennessee schedule, full schedule, and picked games. We also went through Notre Dame's full schedule. So tonight let's talk a little bit about the Maryland Terps. Obviously, we live in Maryland, so we got to do that. We know that they suck, but we got to go through their schedule. And then we also got to talk about the preseason top 25 came out. So we want to not do our own top 25, just shit on this list a little bit. Where you guys want to start? You want to start with Maryland's picks or go to the top 25?
Just start with Maryland. That'll be fast.
Yeah, I think Maryland's a pretty easy team to pick games for. There's a whole lot of L's in there. All right, I'm gonna go through quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on these guys. We only had them because we thought we were gonna have some co-podcasters that were Maryland fans, and it looks like they lost too. All right, so first game is home against Buffalo. We all got that as a win. Maryland does the same shit every year. The first 3 games they schedule the worst teams in the country, so they start 3-0 and then they get obliterated after. So they start with Buffalo, Charlotte, and SMU. They actually might lose to SMU.
Should we talk about that? Because Jamie has them as a loss.
Yeah. So Buffalo, Charlotte, those are walks that they're going to crush. SMU, I struggled. I got it as a win. Zach, you got it as a win. Jamie got it as a loss. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't really have any in-depth analysis on SMU. I just think that, like you said, Maryland sucks. They usually do start the year off 3-0, 4-0, and then lose the rest of their games. I think that SMU gets them early and they go on a nice little losing streak.
I don't know if I would call 10 games a nice little losing streak, but yeah, they'll be in there.
Yeah. So,
9 losing streak.
Look,
if you look at all the teams that they play during that streak of 9 games, the only team that I thought twice about was Northwestern. The rest of the games, it's pretty straightforward. They're gonna lose.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, Indiana, I think Indiana beats them. Yeah, listen, we all got the same thing. Basically, we got them winning the first 3 weeks. Jamie, you got them losing week 3 against SMU. And then we have them losing every week until the last week of the season when they play Rutgers, except Zach hasn't beaten Northwestern. So we can talk about, kind of what could go wrong or the matchups, but the reality is I think that what we're all saying is we think they suck. And they're going to do terrible, and they're going to lose almost every conference game, if not all of them, except for Rutgers. And it's going to be a typical Maryland kind of season.
Yeah, I mean, even when I was in grad school there, the tickets were $5, so that should give you some idea.
I remember they had season ticket packages, and they were $99. It was probably overpriced
for the VIPs.
I think the $5 is overpriced because as soon as you get in the stadium, you got to pay $8 for a beer. Shit.
Maybe the ticket came with a couple of beer vouchers, and that's why people paid the $5.
I doubt it. I don't know. I mean, their football team is just bad.
Yeah, they've given up, and it's a shame because if they recruited a little bit from the Pennsylvania, Ohio areas, they could at least field a decent team.
Well,
go 500.
That's the problem. There's a ton of talent in that area, like Maryland players, Virginia, Pennsylvania. There's a lot of talent. It's just they look at Maryland, and then they look at they go on their visits to other schools, and they're like, I'm leaving. Like unless I want to stay close with my family. That's the only time they get big time recruits is if the kid wants to stay close to home.
Well, they got the little Tagovailoa, right?
Yeah, he's not little. He's a pretty good quarterback.
Well, I meant junior, not small.
He also transferred, so he didn't start at Maryland. He went to Maryland because he's not very good.
Yeah,
he was at Alabama with his brother.
God,
Maryland. So if you're willing to make that move, it's for a reason.
I do. I think he's a decent quarterback though. But Maryland, they're just really not a good team. I don't really even want to talk about them because they suck so bad. Do you
Yeah.
guys?
I'm good.
So
I don't have much to say, but I guess if you're a fan of flashy uniforms, you can watch them.
I
I mean,
don't think
they're ugly as shit, but they're flashy.
Maryland people love that their
The
flag.
state flag, I know.
Hey, it's the ugliest flag. I don't get it. So, like some people will have it up, and the Maryland person will say the flag's upside down. I'm like, who cares? I can't tell shit.
I see that fucking flag on license plates in South Carolina now. Like Maryland people live all over this place, and their license plate is the state flag. They love that shit.
I know.
I'm not from Maryland. Obviously, I live here, but I don't have an issue with the flag. I do have an issue with the Maryland people putting it everywhere, a bit too much. But like, if you look at the Indiana flag compared to the Maryland flag, the Indiana flag sucks. So
what is it? I'm gonna Google it. I've never even seen it.
it's blue, and then it has yellow. They're almost like torches or like lights.
Oh, I know what it is. Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's a very simple flag.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay,
But
yeah, it's fine. I mean,
yeah, it's simple. So it just depends what your preference is. I don't mind Maryland's flag though. I think it's pretty neat looking.
I actually like the flag. I just don't like the way that they use it.
Yeah, it's just like everything in Maryland. Like the people. So like the Ravens, they're an awesome team. Good program. Their fans ruin it. So it's just like everything in Maryland. The people ruin everything.
You got that shit right.
It's true, except the Orioles. I love the Maryland Orioles support. That I like. They're a great. I know we disagreed on this before, but I think Maryland is probably one of the best, if not the best, baseball towns.
It's super fair weather. There's
No,
no.
it isn't.
No, you can't call them fair weather when they've been dog shit for 25 years and they still have half the stadium full.
Yeah, but
These things-
they kind of coast when they're no good. You don't really hear about the Orioles, and then when they're good, everyone's got their gear on. They're going out to the games, all that shit. Like that's fair weather to me. Either you're a fan or you're not. You got to be with them through the good times and the bad.
You're out of touch. You're way off base. I'm not gonna get into it with you because I don't really care. I mean, I'm not born in Maryland. I just live here. So I do love the Orioles. I root for them, but I'm not diehard like these people that are born here and support the team. They're good fans, man. They're good baseball fans. They're terrible football fans. The Ravens suck. In terms of the football knowledge and the way they come at you with the Joe Flacco stuff and all these different. I can't even do it. But as far as baseball, they're a great baseball town. But
yeah, I agree. You see that fucking old school bird everywhere.
Absolutely. Everybody has their gear on all the time. This dude doesn't pay attention.
And the Orioles have cool colors, which makes it a little bit easier, at least to wear the shit.
Halloween.
White, black, and orange. They look good though.
They look good. Come on, stop it. That's ridiculous. Now you're just hating.
I'm not. I don't care about baseball enough to hate. I
You
wouldn't say that Baltimore is the best baseball city. I don't agree.
It's up there. I do believe it's up there.
Well, especially for how bad they've been. I think you have to take that into account. I mean, they've been bad for 20 years.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, how can you be a fan of a team that flat out tells you we're not trying to win?
It's still their team. They still support their team.
You sound like Putty from Seinfeld. Got to support the team.
I mean, you got to support the team.
How frustrating is that though? Like
it's infuriating.
You have a decent team. You have a chance to make the playoffs. Trade deadline comes, and you're like, we're not paying these guys. See ya.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll tell you the honest truth. Like once I got into the Orioles, when I got a little bit older, because I didn't grow up in Maryland the whole time. We moved all around, but once I got into the Orioles, I was a big time supporter, and it did take a lot of years for me to finally sort of say, all right, like I got Hulu, which doesn't carry the networks. I don't watch the games anymore. But it did get frustrating. Like I remember reading the newspaper and, checking the standings. What did they do? Where are they at? And they just game after game and losing, and then the players leaving, and they don't get any players in. I'm like, it got to be the point where probably 5 years ago or something, I got Hulu, and I really haven't watched the game since. I still support them. I keep tabs on them to see how they're doing, but I'm like, why would I pay more for cable to watch the Orioles when they have no commitment to winning. It's like exactly what you're saying. So I just can't do it. I even looked at the Major League Baseball app to maybe get that to watch the games, but Masson blacks them out. If you're using your app in the state, you can't watch the Oriole game. So I can watch every other game.
That's
so
absurd.
Like, I can't watch the game unless I get cable. I'm not paying double or triple. Fuck that.
The other thing I was thinking about when you were saying that you've lived in, different places besides Maryland, the Cubs, they're Chicago and that fan base, like they went 108 years without winning.
Yeah.
And they're super loyal. They love their Cubs. So I think the Cubs are definitely one of the top baseball teams and fan bases and cities.
Well, if you're stuck in that cold ass shithole, what else do you have to do besides root for the Cubs and Bears, who both suck balls?
Yeah, but both Cubs and Bears, they're both iconic franchises.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
With great fan bases too.
There were the Bulls.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was
All
just saying the Bears.
Chicago teams. So were the Blackhawks. I mean, Chicago's a good sports city, man.
The Bears haven't been relevant since I'm alive, I don't think.
They won the Super Bowl in '85, and they really haven't been very relevant.
I mean, I wouldn't say that they're irrelevant. They've had some teams, they just haven't competed. They were in the Super Bowl with Lovie Smith when they played. They lost to the Colts.
Oh yeah,
yeah, with Rex Grossman.
Yeah, you were talking. Yeah, Rex Grossman. You were talking shit about how Peyton could win a big game, won that Super Bowl, didn't he? Was that a big enough game?
Well, he played the Bears. They're fucking irrelevant.
In the Super Bowl.
I'm joking.
This fucking dude. I can't.
And that fucking linebacker, was it Urlacher?
Yeah, don't be saying that I said that Peyton couldn't win the big game. That was a joke. Like you took that to heart. Don't be putting me out there. I love Peyton, man.
We got that shit on podcast.
Man,
we got that shit on video.
It's a shame. It's a shame that
you're like a millennial taking like a small portion of my and like trying to cancel me.
No, did you hear how I just differentiated myself from a millennial? I said we got that shit on video.
Ravens fans wouldn't care. You get a standing ovation.
Yeah. You got that shit right. You got that right. But don't get a speeding ticket if you play on another team. Oh my goodness, they want you kicked out.
Could have killed somebody.
Hollywood Brown, you got to go. Man, they loved Hollywood Brown too, but as soon as he got traded, they're like, how do we get this dude out of the NFL altogether? Unbelievable. I can't deal with the Ravens. Let's do the NFL next show, but I don't want to talk about them today because as much as I love the Maryland people for their support of the Orioles, I can't stand that Ravens bullshit. So we'll get into that later. All right, so we did the Maryland schedule. Nothing very impressive there. It's pretty underwhelming, which is about the expectation for Maryland football. So let's talk about the top 25. I'll just kind of go down, and then let's just talk about whether or not we think it's probably about right or under or overrated. So number one, they got Alabama. I mean, I don't think that's a big shocker. Anybody got any issues there?
No, I think Alabama and Ohio State, number 1 and 2, I think everybody's fine with.
And Georgia at 3, I don't have an issue with. I think the top
I do.
Okay, so all right, so 1 and 2, Alabama, Ohio State, we're good with. Georgia at 3. Go ahead. What's your issue? Over?
Way over. They lost a shitload of people. Like you can't, like even if they reload and have a ton of talent, you can't just lose like probably one of the best defenses in college football history and expect to just continue on. I think they're going to end up probably in the 2 to 3 loss range. Stetson Bennett isn't very good. Their offense is mediocre. Their defense was elite last year. And this year, I don't think it will be quite as good. I mean, it's still going to be a good defense, but I think they'll probably finish in the 10 to 15 range.
Georgia?
Yeah.
So who would you put in front of them preseason?
That's my question.
I'm not sure. Maybe Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, the Big 12 is what it is. I mean,
Oklahoma, they lost their quarterback and they have a new coach.
Yeah, but Oklahoma, they just cruise to the Big 12, and every year they lose a game that everyone says like, why the fuck did they lose that game?
I don't know if I don't even think that they'll win the Big 12 this year.
But actually, now that I'm saying it, I'm going to change that to Baylor. I think I'll take Baylor over Oklahoma. But I think Georgia's going to end up with 2 or 3 losses. So
To who? To who? Let me. I mean, so I mean, we don't want to get
well,
slowed down.
they play Oregon opening weekend. That one I think will be a tough game.
You're
They're
picking.
gonna beat Oregon.
You have us going 12-0. So
Whoa! Hold on. That's us. I can be fair with everybody else.
well, if we're 12-0, they have a loss.
That's 2 there.
Okay. All right. So Oregon, they beat Oregon. I got them beating. Oregon is on the decline too.
I think they'll beat Oregon. I just don't think it's going to be like a beat down like it would have been last year.
All right, but you're saying they shouldn't. You're saying 2 to 3 losses shouldn't be at number 3. So I'm not going to challenge your picks. You put it's preseason, put them where you want. But let's go through real quick. So just give me win or loss. Oregon. You say win. We all say win. Sanford win. South Carolina.
For the losses, I would say Tennessee, maybe Auburn, and then if they get to the SEC title game, Bama.
Well, if they lose to us, they're not getting the SEC title. Right? If we beat Georgia, we beat everybody else in the East. That's for damn sure.
I mean, it depends on how consistent we are, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe they go 10-1, but it's Georgia. They always fucking lose games they shouldn't lose.
I guess.
I mean, the whole poll is where we think they're going to end up, right?
Well, coming into this, yeah, I guess.
If we're talking about where we think they're going to end up, I think they're going to end up at like number 10, 8, 9, 10, probably.
Well, I don't like where they're going to end up. I think where we would predict, where we would put them right now based on last season and what we know about coming into this season. I know Georgia lost a lot of talent, but they were deep. They have depth. They have talent. I got no issue with them at 3. I got no issue if you want to move them.
Okay, well, I mean, if you're just saying where you think they should come in, then I guess that's fine. I was doing more of where I think they're going to end up. So
yeah, that's too hard. So but you do think they're slightly overrated. Maybe that's a little bit high for them. That's fine. I think it's good. Jamie thinks it's good. Number 4, Clemson. I'm gonna go first. I think that's too high.
where you think they should be? 10?
I would say the 8 to 10 range. I think that their schedule is going to keep them
Up there. Yeah.
standings, but I don't think they're going to be a very good team. I tell you, man, I know I'm being hard on them, but I was pretty disappointed how they looked last year. I don't have any faith in at all until they really bounce back. So I'm putting them bottom 10, top 10, still top 10 because of the ACC, but bottom top 10.
Yeah, I was going to say they're a weird team because I think they're probably going to go undefeated or 1 loss. But if they have a loss, it's going to be a bad loss. So,
well, it has to be. The conference.
That's what I'm saying. Their schedule is such dog shit. So if they lose, it's like how the hell they lose that game? I mean, outside of I guess Notre Dame, if they lose that one close, then they shouldn't fall too far. But
well, and Miami's preseason number 17, and Pitt. I don't think they played Pitt though. I think they would play Pitt in the ACC title game. I'm looking at the conferences now. So Clemson, yeah, Pitt's on the opposite side. All right, so I got Clemson overrated. Are you good with where they are?
me?
Yeah.
No, I think they're overrated also.
Jamie?
I would say slightly overrated. I wouldn't have them as the number 14.
I think my rankings are also a little bit skewed though, because I feel like this is a very top heavy year for college football.
I don't. I think this is going to be a wide open year. I think there's going to be a lot of teams and a lot of competition, a lot of chaos. I think this is the year where I think there's going to be some unpredictability finally coming into the playoff. I don't expect chalk by any stretch. I know Ohio State should kind of walk through the Big Ten because I'm not that impressed with the strength of schedule there, but they drop games too that they're not supposed to. I think it's going to be pretty open. And Alabama, I'm not convinced is going to be all that either. I mean, they're going to be one of the best teams, but compared to the Alabama of the past 15 years, I think there might be a little bit of a drop off there too, but maybe I'm just hoping. All right. Number 5, Notre Dame. Got them as where they are or over under. Jamie, start with you. You're the Notre Dame guy.
I think you could flip flop Clemson and Notre Dame.
You like Notre Dame at 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Zach?
They're another team I think would fit in the 10 to 15 range. I think they're going to drop 2 or 3 games at least. So
I actually agree with that. I think somewhere between 10 and 15. I don't think they're a top 10 team. All right. Michigan at number 6.
that's fine. I don't. They had a good year last year. Got their ass
Yeah.
whipped in the playoff. So
Yeah, I got no issue with it. Jamie, I know you're a Michigan hater. What do you think?
I'm okay with it. I think their offense will be better than last year, and I think their defense will take a little step back. So as long as their offense is, better, I have no problem with them being number 6.
Okay. A&M number 7. I like it. I got no issues.
yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about that.
Jamie?
I would say they're overrated. I mean, they've done well recruiting, but I mean, you just don't see it on the field. I know they beat Alabama last year, but they also had 3 or 4 losses last year. So they're just very sporadic. They're not consistent. I don't think they're a top 10 team preseason. Now, if they, have a good season and they are top 10, I wouldn't be surprised because they have the talent and Jimbo has proven that he can win. But based on what I've seen from Texas A&M so far, I don't value them as a top 10 team.
Okay. I think that's fair enough. I mean, they've really not put together just a great season. They've got they've beaten Alabama a couple times and they've got some key wins, but I agree. They've really not put together from start to finish like a playoff run.
They also have their quarterback from last year transferred. So they have a new quarterback coming. I don't know if they got a transfer, if they just have a guy that they recruited, but they have some question marks too.
Yeah. I'm okay with where they are. Just because I don't think it's too high, and I think it gives some room for movement. All right, number 8, Utah. Now this is a team, Jamie, you've been pretty high on. I don't know shit about Utah, so I'm good with where they're at. I have no idea. I want to see them play Florida in week 1, and I'm pretty excited about that game. I know that you think Notre Dame is the only team playing in week 1 in college football, but there's some other pretty good games on. I'm looking forward to the West Virginia Pitt game, the Utah Florida game, the Notre Dame Ohio State game. There's a few good games on there on that week 1.
Yeah, week 1 is good. I just said marquee.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. Well, Tennessee plays Ball State. That's marquee, baby.
I mean, it'll be a close one.
All right, I'm not gonna really weigh too much in on Utah. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I don't think I have too much issue. I guess now that I've looked at it, I would probably move the Baylor, Oklahoma, Utah to 3, 4, 5, and then bump the rest of the teams down, and then call it good.
Wow. So okay, so I want to change what I just said. I would move Oklahoma, Baylor in front of Utah, just because I'm not that familiar with Utah, but I have a little more faith in what I've seen from Oklahoma and Baylor over the past, recent history. So let me drop Utah at least a few spots and get Oklahoma, Baylor moved up a little bit, not all the way to top 5, but a little higher than where they're at right now. Jamie?
I think I don't disagree with that. I think Utah, Oklahoma, and Baylor, they're all very similar. Like if they were like those 3 teams, if you put them in any order you want, I don't really have an issue with it. I think they're all pretty similar. And then I also think that you could probably put OK State in that category as well. I know Oklahoma has traditionally dominated OK State, but OK State is more stable going into 2022 than Oklahoma is. So if Oklahoma State gets them this year, this would be their best opportunity, I think, to do so.
I actually agree on all points there. We got Oregon at number 12. I would move them in front of Oklahoma State, and probably Baylor. I'm okay, just in front of Oklahoma State. I watched Oklahoma State last year, was not impressed. I did not watch Baylor last year, and Oklahoma is just, they're just a good football team year in and year out. I agree. They're going to be, they got some changeover. Well, they clearly have some changeover going on. But I'm moving to Oregon, at least in front of Oklahoma State. I'm not impressed with Oklahoma State ever. I just they're just the same team every year. It feels like, 8, 9, 10 wins and done. And it's just it's like it's like watching the same movie over and over and over and over. The ending doesn't change.
Yeah, I agree with OK State, but like I said, I think this is the year where you might see them win the Big 12 or just be in the discussion. And they were last year. Like it was Baylor and OK State that played in the Big 12 championship game. Oregon, I'm okay with Oregon being there. Oregon's a team where I'm not really sure what the future holds for them. They're still recruiting at a high level, but I think you've seen over the past, 5 or 6 years, they've had, coaching changes. So like there's no real stability there. There's just new coaches that come in and they just keep it going. But they're definitely, I would say they're trending down rather than what they used to be when they were at their highest.
Right. I definitely agree. I think Oregon's trending down. I still like them from a speed perspective, and just sort of I like the way they play. I like them over Oklahoma State. Zach, any movement on Oregon? Or are you good with where they are?
I think that's appropriate. They're fun to watch. They got a schedule, so I think they're good there.
Yeah. Number 13, NC State. I don't like where they're at. I got to drop them closer to number 20.
I agree with that. And obviously I don't really know much about NC State. I know the ACC is not very good, and NC State is the first team that I look at this and I'm like, just confused. I'm not sure why they're that high. And I would move them. The highest that I think I would rank them would be, I don't know, 18, but they probably belong around 20 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really understand that one either. But I'm sure they'll lose some bullshit games and drop down to where they should be. So
yeah, I got to tell you, I just on paper and from what I've seen over the past couple of years, I'm not putting them over Michigan State, USC, Pitt, Miami, Texas. Maybe Wake is where they come in, somewhere around Wake, but I don't have Wake in front of Wisconsin, Kentucky, Cincinnati, Arkansas, or Ole Miss. So I think this whole thing's kind of fucked up at the bottom.
Yeah.
So,
I think the team that should move into that slot is probably USC, and it's all based on projections, based on the talent that they have, because you don't really know. They're like a team that just got put together in the offseason. If it all works out, I mean, they're definitely their ceiling is way higher than 13, but I think it's fair to put them at 13 instead of NC State.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I like USC to be a little bit higher, only because of the teams that are in front of them. So I'm not putting USC behind NC State, behind Oklahoma State, but I don't think USC. I'm not trying to make them out to be like they're going to be a juggernaut this year. So it's just really a result of the teams that are there that I really don't believe in. So then you got Pitt at 16. Well, we got Michigan State at 14. I think it's probably about right. You guys?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. They're boring. They'll win the games they should and get their ass beat a couple times and be on their way.
Yeah, I think Michigan State's a good team, and they're well coached. They had a good year last year, but this is an area where I would drop them down and I would move Kentucky up into that spot.
I don't have an issue with that either. I don't know that I would be that high on Kentucky, but I would definitely move Ole Miss up.
Ole Miss was gonna be the one that I was gonna say I would move up.
Yeah, I would put Ole Miss closer in that 15 range. I got them jumping up actually a significant amount. Cincinnati, I know I said I referenced them moving up in front of somebody before, but I wouldn't move them anywhere.
So my only issue with Ole Miss, like obviously I think they have a ton of talent, but they have quarterback. They don't really know who their quarterback is. They got the transfer from USC, Jackson Dart, but he hasn't really done anything that would make you confident as with him as a starting quarterback. Kentucky has a solidified quarterback with Will Levis, and he is a good college quarterback. So I that's why I give the edge to Kentucky over Ole Miss.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I like Ole Miss more than Kentucky. I just can't take Kentucky serious. I just can't do it. I just
Yeah,
can't.
I mean, they're a team that every time they beat somebody who matters, they think it's the Super Bowl. So until that changes, I think they're fine in the 20s.
Yeah, I am too. I'd be fine with them not even being in the pool. I'm not sure. I don't really understand why everybody's so high on them. I mean, I thought we could have beat them much worse last year. Our defense was, we just couldn't get any stops, but offensively we tore them apart. And so I don't get the hype or the expectations. The second the SEC bullshit. I mean, maybe they're just much better than we realize or something. I don't get it. But anyway, that's enough about them. So Pitt, Miami is next. Oh no, we didn't do Pitt, did we?
Yeah, I think Pitt is way too high. I think they shouldn't even be in the top 25.
Damn, that's kind of harsh. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I think they're overrated. I would say like very bottom of the top 25. I don't know if I would kick them out completely, but anywhere from 22 to 25 is fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think they got a fair amount of returners coming back. I know they're replacing their quarterback who got drafted, but I think they got a transfer quarterback that's supposed to be pretty good. They lost the number one receiver, but I think they got a transfer receiver that's supposed to be pretty good. So I don't really have an issue with where they are. Maybe a little bit lower, but I don't. I'm not. Huh?
They did get transfers, but they're not good. Like the transfer quarterback that they got is Keaton Slovis, who came from USC, total bum. So,
well, they won the ACC last year. They're still getting a lot of guys back. I mean, I'm okay with where they are. I really.
I think they also lost a defensive lineman and a linebacker who were like NFL drafts.
I think they lost a good bit, and then the pieces that they brought to replace are not at that level. So they're going to have a huge step back.
I wouldn't be surprised if they started off 0-2 with West Virginia squeaking out a win and Tennessee beating their ass. So
I picked West Virginia to win.
Yeah.
Obviously picked Tennessee to win. So I do see them starting out 0-2.
No, they beat West Virginia. We can put that on the bet sheet. They're going to beat West Virginia. You guys are crazy. You guys are, I'm not sure why I don't know why there would be too much hype around them, but I don't know why you guys are being so harsh. I mean, they won the ACC last year, right? They beat Clemson in the ACC, or not Clemson didn't make it. They beat Wake in the ACC title, right?
Forest. It was a weird year for the ACC.
Do what?
Last year was a weird year, I think. I think this year you'll see Clemson back, and I think Miami will actually be a contender in the ACC.
We'll see, but I tell you what, I know you're banking on Clemson to make it back, so you guys can get a quality win. But
you're banging the Tigers.
Banging the Tigers.
Whatever gets us a win, I'll do it.
All right, so Pitt, I like where they're at. You guys think they're overrated? I think that's fair. Miami's the one I think is overrated. I don't know what this shit's about. Well, I guess they're number 17. I think the earlier projections I saw had them like top 10. So I guess maybe 17 is okay. But Miami's been disappointing year after year after year. They're another team that as soon as they start getting some recognition and they look pretty good, they just seem to go on a string of losses. I'm not impressed with Miami. I'm fine where they're at.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is Miami every fucking year? They're like Texas. Like every year, people were like, "Oh, this is the year for Miami." Then they go out and have a mediocre dog shit season, waddle their way through the ACC at 7-5 or whatever nonsense, and no one cares. Like it just seems like every season it's the same story. I don't get the love at all.
Yeah, and that has been the story for Miami recently. I will say that the hire of Mario Cristobal has generated a lot of excitement, has boosted recruiting. The approach that he's taken, I think, is a good one. So I wouldn't be surprised if Miami is better in years to come. I think they're okay where they're at. I might boost them up to 16 where Pitt is, but I'm okay with their ranking.
Okay. All right. Next is Texas at 18. Overrated every year. I see this year is no different. I think I just think they're always overrated. I'm not sure about the love for Texas. Don't know where it comes from. Not impressed with them. You can drop them out of the top 25 for all I care.
Texas, I actually have them underrated. I think they should be the #1 team in this poll. I'm joking. Yeah, Texas,
You were the one where they got their first place vote.
that was me. Yeah, how silly is that they're ranked 18th in the preseason poll and they have a 1 next to their name? I've never seen anything like that. Yeah, Texas is super overrated. They're another team that there's a ton of excitement around. The recruiting has taken off. They got Arch Manning. I don't know if Arch Manning is going to be a good player or not.
He doesn't play this year.
I know. I'm just saying, recruiting's. There's more. The recruiting is doing better. So they have a top 5 right now. Where I mean,
people think they're trending up.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement around them.
Okay.
I just don't see it. I would have Texas at the very bottom of this list or outside looking in. I think there's teams that got left out, like Iowa, Penn State, Tennessee, BYU, Auburn, LSU, North Carolina. All those teams I would put in the top 25 over Texas.
Yeah, that's more what I was thinking too. Is Texas, were they 5-7 last year? Like,
might have been 7-5 or something. They underachieved.
Either way, they're around 500.
Yeah.
To me, they have no business being the top 25 until they win some games. Unless they're bringing Vince Young or Colt McCoy back, I don't give a shit. So they're way out of place to me.
They might need Mac Brown too.
Yeah, Texas. I'm looking at what they did last year. I'm not really finding it, but it looks like last 5 they lost. West Virginia. They lost their very last game against Baylor. They lost the game before that against Iowa State. They lost the game before that against Kansas, and they lost the game before that against West Virginia. They lost 4 of their last 5 games. They lost the last 4, and 4 of their last 5. They beat Kansas State 22-17. What in the fuck is anybody talking about putting them in the top 25? You got to be fucking kidding me.
And they were 5-7, by the way.
Did you say
they lost to Kansas?
Get them out.
Get them out of Division 1, not just the top 25.
Get them out.
I mean, come on, man. That's ridiculous. That's insulting. Holy shit.
I mean, a 5-7 team, a 5-7 team, even if you bring all their players back, they still suck balls.
Right. I mean, if fucking Vince Young isn't the quarterback next year, why the fuck are they in the top 25? That's ridiculous. All right, next is Wake Forest, equally ridiculous. Get them the fuck out of the top 25 also.
I'm actually okay with it, but not because I think they're a good team. I just think they're the beneficiary of a bullshit schedule.
I think they play any legit team, they get their ass whipped.
Yep. I mean, they'll probably end up still 9-3 though, or whatever. So they'll have to be 20. That's what they do every year.
All right. Well, you can put them at 25 then. I don't like them in the poll at all. Jamie?
I'm okay if they're at the bottom of the top 25, but they're definitely overrated at 19. I don't think they're a good team. They definitely won't be anywhere near the ACC championship game this year.
Nope.
No, if they're in the SEC, they'd be fucking 6-6, 5-7.
They'd be Vandy.
Yeah, exactly. With matching uniforms.
All right, Wisconsin. Anybody?
Nothing to say about them.
I don't care. Yeah, I just don't give a shit about the Big Ten. I don't care about Wisconsin. Fine, you want to put them at number 20, fine.
Yeah, they can take their fucking cheese and hang out at 20. I don't give a shit.
I like Iowa. I feel like Iowa would be the better representation of the Big Ten in this spot. I would swap them out with Iowa.
Yeah, I think Iowa or Penn State would be fair.
Yeah, I like Penn State too. I just think Iowa, I don't know, I just can't trust James Franklin.
Well, yeah, he looks like a fucking penis.
You can say the same shit about me and every other bald guy.
Yeah, but I'm not on fucking camera, so I can say whatever I want.
Right.
Yeah. If I had $1 for every time I've been called a dickhead, you know. All right.
With your personality than the way you look, though. now that you're bald, you also look like a dickhead, so it worked out for you.
I was gonna say, even having hair, you're getting called dickhead.
Right.
I would put both of you out of the top 25. All right. So next is Cincinnati. I don't like them in the top 25. Small school. Again, you talk about somebody benefiting from really not a lot of competition. That's Cincinnati in a nutshell. They didn't belong in the playoff last year. Everybody knew it. It was just it was a great time to put them in because there was just nobody else worthy of going in. Notre Dame sucked and they were at number 5. So there was just nobody really to go. So they put Cincinnati in. They got beat. And,
Yeah.
You know,
I agree with that. And I also, as a Notre Dame fan, I take full responsibility because like we were supposed to beat them and keep them out. And I feel like we're the reason why that happened. We're the reason why they made the playoff. We didn't do our job.
yeah, you guys gave them a top 10 win on their resume.
So
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're playing at Arkansas the opening week. That should put a damper on this. So I think Arkansas will, yeah, they're at Arkansas the first week.
Oh yeah, so they lose week 1.
Yeah,
Arkansas.
so
You talk about a team ascending. Arkansas is ascending.
yeah, I think Arkansas is going to run the ball down their fucking throat.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Cincinnati, they had a good quarterback last year. And they had a couple good receivers. And they had some talent. Like they had 2 corners going the first and second round of the draft last year. So they had some talent, but they don't have that talent anymore. They're a smaller school anyways, so I think Arkansas is going to beat them pretty easily week 1.
yeah, I think the playoffs made it pretty clear what Cincinnati is. I mean, they got dominated just like everyone knew they would, and packed their fucking bags and went home.
Yeah, I don't like hearing about these little schools. I really don't. If you want to be considered one of the big boys and get in a conference and play with the big boys, I'm tired of hearing this shit. I don't like all this whiny crap. All right, next is Arkansas at 23. I definitely got to move them up because I got Cincinnati coming out. I got Wake coming out. I got who else? I had somebody dropping way the fuck out.
Pitt, Miami, Texas.
No, Pitt I was okay with. Texas. Pitt I was all right with. Anyway, I got Arkansas moving probably 17, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I think that's about where they belong. They're a 15 to 20-ish team.
Yeah, and I got Ole Miss going with them. Right in that same neighborhood. Jamie, what about those two?
Yeah, Arkansas, I think they're trending up, but I mean, I'm okay with them being 23. It's not like they're being overrated or underrated. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's an insult, but I think they're a pretty tough team. I mean, they played Oklahoma or Ole Miss to the wire last year, who was number 7. So I think they're a solid team, and they have Sam Pittman, who is a great offensive line coach, and they just dominate the trenches. Which, no matter how good or bad you are, it's a bad matchup. When we play a team that focuses on their lines.
Yeah, anytime you dominate the trenches, you're going to be competitive, especially against teams that obviously you're going against the big boys. You might get outmanned, but when you're playing against just one-offs or random teams, that's a good place to start is the trenches. And if you can dominate there, then you're going to have a chance at success.
Yeah, I think they're going to dominate Cincinnati that opening weekend. I think it's going to be like a 31-6 type game.
I hope so. Get them out. And the last team, number 25, Houston. Again, total bullshit. I don't have them in the top 25 at all. I think this is a joke.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think I would drop out probably Pitt, Miami, Texas, Wake Forest, Cincinnati. I would plug in Iowa, Penn State, Tennessee, LSU, Auburn, maybe BYU, maybe North Carolina. There's a bunch of teams I would put over the bottom of the top 25.
Yeah, I agree with what you just said, Zach. I would definitely move Houston out. And I agree with the Miami, Texas. Well, not Miami. I think Miami. I'm okay with Miami staying, but Texas, Wake.
I said Pitt. I said Pitt also.
I think Pitt I had at the bottom of the top 25, but
yeah,
looking at some of these teams that got snubbed, you can make a case that these teams could be put over Pitt. The teams that you mentioned, Iowa, Penn State, Tennessee, LSU, Auburn, BYU, North Carolina, all those teams could easily make the top 25.
What do you guys got? Some wicked background noise going on. It's like a screeching or something.
I didn't hear it.
You don't hear that?
I hear tapping.
It's just like screeching or squeaking. It sounds like a bird.
I didn't hear that. No.
Anyway, all right. So
Fucking beautiful mind.
okay, well, I can play this shit back for you if you want. I'll post motherfucker unedited. You can hear it for yourself. All right, so look, I'm not going to go into a lot more about this poll. I think the objection we have, most people would have, it's a preseason poll, so it really doesn't matter. It's hard to be too offended by a preseason poll unless you're fucking Tennessee, who got left off the motherfucker altogether, which is total bullshit. And so I like us coming in, and I really don't. I'm just joking around. I really don't care because we played Pitt in week 2 and Florida in week 4. We have an opportunity to right away make a statement about where we should be in the poll. And a lot of these teams are going to drop right away. I think Utah, not Utah, Oregon and Georgia play right out of the gate. Oregon's at number 12, so if they lose, they could drop pretty far. Obviously, Pitt's 16, so we can move in to take their spot. There's some pretty good match. Arkansas and Cincinnati play there at the bottom 20. So there's going to be some movement right out of the gate, and there's going to be room for us to move in. But we need to take care of business. It's been a long time, so I know that people need to see it first. No sweat.
Yeah, I think the good thing about college football now, at least from the 90s that I remember, is I feel like there's a lot more fluidity with the top 25. Like, I feel like it used to be, if you were in the top 25, you were kind of almost like set in stone to be in the top 25. And now if you're 15, you get blown out week 1, they just drop your ass. So that's something that's changed, I think, in a good way.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely didn't used to be like that. If you were number 1 and you lost to, like Michigan, that was the first team that ever dropped out of the poll.
Yeah.
After a loss, when they lost to App State. But how crazy is that?
They were number 2. But yeah,
there should be no discussion. That shouldn't be history making. Like, it's a preseason poll. It was wrong. You lost. You got your ass whipped by a small school. Get the fuck out. I don't know why it took so many years for that shit to happen. Either way, that's the poll. I think we're all kind of okay with it. I think kind of lukewarm to it.
Let me ask.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if you win your games, you'll be in where you should be. So
yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, it all works itself out. But where would you guys put Tennessee?
probably 20.
Well, based on my season predictions, I got to put us at number 1. But in all honesty, I think based on how we looked last year, the schedule we have this year, the expectations, I really think we belong. I would say I would say where Pitt is. I would say 16-15. I would put us. I think that would be fair. To start, I know that we were 7-6 or whatever after that bowl game, but and I'm not making excuses, but there are a lot of games we were very competitive and that we weren't expected to be competitive in. I think that we had built a little more on defense. I like the direction we're heading. I do think we make some noise in the SEC this year. So I think middle of the pack.
I think the problem is you guys went 6-6 last year and
7-5.
Well, regular season.
7-5.
Oh, 7-5.
Yeah, we lost the bowl game to make it 7-6.
Who was your best win last year?
Probably Kentucky. They were projected to beat us, and probably Kentucky.
Okay.
We didn't really have any marquee wins.
Yeah, I think that might be the issue is you guys didn't really beat anybody and you went 7-5. I mean, I don't think that you guys shouldn't be ranked. I think you should be in the top 25. I just think that's probably the reason why you got left out.
Yeah. I think 20 is fair to start, and I think we're going to end up higher. So
yeah, I'm really, even as a fan, I was pretty insulted when I saw the poll. I'm like, come on, man. When I looked at Houston's last 5, they actually had a pretty impressive last 5. So even if you want to make the case that they stay, they finished their last season beating Auburn. They had a couple good wins. But and even Ole Miss, I'm good with in Arkansas. But yeah, you can't leave us out and put teams like Cincinnati in, and teams like Wake Forest in, and teams like Texas in that just got obliterated. I mean, you talk about us not having marquee wins. Texas lost to Kansas, lost 4 straight to finish the season. Lost to Kansas. I mean, you want to say, hey, Tennessee didn't have any big wins. I really have no issue with it. I feel like you just got to earn your way into the poll and take care of your business. But goddamn, come on, man. Let's use the same fucking formula for everybody. This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I think if we win the games as I predicted and go 9-3, we'll end up at 12, 13, that area where we should be.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. I mean, football starts in 2 weeks from this Thursday, right? No, 2 weeks from yesterday.
I think there's actually games next weekend, but they're bullshit games.
No, it's the following weekend. So it actually starts a full week.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a week from this Saturday. There's a handful of games, and then Tennessee plays the Thursday night game, and then of course everything goes off. Really, there's a handful of games on Friday as well, and then everything really kicks off on Saturday. I hate that Thursday game. I don't know why.
I do too.
Pisses me off, man. I love waking up on Saturday, get ready for college football. But I still will. There's some good games on that day. So we got a lot to go through. We'll have a couple more episodes to record. Obviously, we're just getting underway with our podcast too. So we're sort of ironing out our wrinkles the same way that the teams are going to be in their season. I don't think that's going to be a secret for our millions of listeners are going to know that we're still trying to put some stuff together here. But next week,
it definitely has to suck to be playing on Thursday night of the opening weekend. Like, I would be super pissed off.
It's annoying as shit, and it makes it a dangerous game.
Last year we opened on Sunday, so we were the only game on Sunday, but it sucked because Saturday is college football day. So like that's the day you want to be playing on.
Yeah.
Always.
The fact that like they play with you guys and put you on a Thursday game, I mean, they would never do that shit to us.
I think your school has to volunteer for it, right?
Yeah, Tennessee agrees to it. They don't put you there.
You guys are the volunteers.
Was our last Thursday night game the Appalachia State game?
No, last year?
No, like when we had Dobbs like 4 or 5 years ago.
I don't know, but that was a pretty scary game.
That's what I'm saying. Like I hate the Thursday night game. I feel like that's always where upsets happen.
Well, App State's a little different. I mean, listen, if we have to be nervous about Ball State on Thursday night, then we got big fucking issues.
I'm not saying we should be nervous. I just hate when teams come out flat on a Thursday.
I think we should be able to come out flat and still beat Ball State by 100 points. I mean, we should be able to play them at midnight in fucking Alaska. It shouldn't matter.
I know. I just don't like it. That's all.
I agree. I hate it too because I want Saturday. I want the Saturday college football day. I think they might be doing it just to, I don't know why they're doing it, to be honest with you. I don't really like it. I don't really want to even speculate because it's stupid.
I'm sure it's for the national exposure because
but it's not on national TV. It's on the SEC network.
Yeah.
The bars won't even play it. The bars, I mean, outside of SEC country, you can't nobody will play the fucking SEC network. It pisses me off to no end.
There's nothing.
Well, that makes no fucking sense to me then.
There's nothing positive you can take away from playing on Thursday night, especially on the weekend of college football. It sucks.
If you're the ESPN 7 o'clock game, sort of that kickoff game, yeah.
I still don't like it.
I don't like it, but I can understand it.
We were the only game on Sunday. Like it was our day. We were the only game, and I hated it.
Yeah, it feels weird. I mean,
it did, and I felt like we were left out of the opening weekend of college football.
I agree. I mean, I agree. That's I'm sitting here saying I always want to play on Saturday, but what I'm saying is I do understand why schools agree to play that 7 o'clock Thursday night kickoff. It's the first game of the college football season, so I get it. I mean, I don't have an issue.
Yeah,
I don't
if it's not nationally televised, like what the fuck is that?
It's not even the first game though either, because like you said, they have those bullshit games on Saturday.
Correct. So that's changed also. Yep.
Yeah, there's nothing positive about it.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But that's when we play, and I'll be tuned in. So
I mean, the only solace is that we can win our game, and I can watch all weekend rooting for upsets and not have to worry about us.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how Tennessee, that's the kind of the deal that you guys get. They just tell you what to do and you guys just eat shit and do what you're told.
Yeah, that's it. That's how you see it. That's how you see it.
I do.
You better hope you don't play us in a bowl game this year. I tell you what, we will wax that ass, man.
You say that every year, and you guys lost to Purdue last year, so I just can't take it.
We did. You don't have to take it serious. You didn't take Oklahoma State serious either when you're up 21-0. They beat your ass too.
No, we were coasting. We had our feet up.
Yeah. Yeah. How'd that work out? Dumbass. All right. So
Purdue, though,
hmm?
at least we lost to a real team.
I have said 100 times our defense was we could score, we couldn't get stops last year. Purdue could score, we couldn't get stops. What do you mean? I'm not making excuses. It's the way it was. That was the weakness. That was our Achilles last year.
I wouldn't talk shit about a bowl game either way, honestly. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's making fun of you guys for getting your ass whooped by Oklahoma State.
We didn't get our ass whooped.
Down 21-0. You got your ass whooped.
We were up 21-0. They came.
That's what I'm saying. They were down 21-0. Oklahoma State was okay. You were up there where they were down. Which way you want to do it? Whatever way you want to phrase it.
It was a back and forth game. Like no one got their ass whooped.
You guys were up 21-0.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they whipped your ass.
They scored twice and they got the ball back in the second half and they tied it. And then it just went back and forth.
Yeah. They went down 21-0.
We lost a game that we should have won.
And then they whipped your ass.
It doesn't even matter. The bowl games have been completely devalued. All the good players sit out.
Correct.
No one gives a shit. I mean, that's just how it is.
You guys didn't sitting out.
We did. We had our defensive, our best corner was sitting out.
Who?
Taylor. He got drafted.
Where?
I don't know, first or second round. Here, I'll tell you.
It don't matter. He got drafted. Nobody has to prove anything, you bitch. You Google it. You got Google.
Definitely wasn't first or second round.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
No.
Yes, it was. It doesn't matter. Let's move on.
It doesn't matter.
All right. So look, next episode will be episode 3. I guess we'll get into the Ravens picks and the Titans picks.
He was round 2.
60.
49. He was a good fucking corner.
Yeah, he was. You guys shut up.
You don't even know who he is.
What are you talking about?
He had the pick 6 against Kentucky and he was eating cookies.
What's his name? Not you, Zach. What's his name?
Taylor.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
What's his first name?
Alante.
Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
That's right.
Come on, man. You think I don't watch the fucking games or something?
You're not in touch. I know you sold your season tickets because you guys were losing, so you're fair weather.
Come on, man. Come on. I had season tickets in Tennessee when I live in Maryland. Are you crazy? Shut up. All right, look, here we go. So week 3, we're going to do the Ravens pick. We're going to do some NFL stuff. Not a ton. Most of this is going to be college football. But we'll do a little bit of the home teams. So the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. And we'll get into some of those picks and also talk a little bit about the quarterback situation. You guys got anything before we wrap? Before we wrap it up, any final thoughts?
Nah, looking forward to the season. I think me shitting on the top 3, 4, 5 teams is going to pan out for me. So,
yeah, listen. Hey, I think Tennessee's going to have a season to celebrate. Notre Dame is in for a long, hard road, but
what does that even mean? A long, hard road.
You don't know what that means? You never heard the expression "long, hard road"?
I've heard the expression, but what are you talking about?
It's not. I mean, holy cow! Let's wrap this shit up, man.
Tennessee has a season to be celebrated based on what?
Go read a fucking book before the next episode.
Did you guys celebrate last year 7-5?
I celebrated every time we won those 7 games. I had 7 celebrations.
You happy with that season?
Huh?
Were you happy with that season?
Let me tell you something. I'm happy that we have a coach that knows how to coach. Yes, I am.
So you
I'm
just
happy.
so you
that
just
we're
ignore,
trending.
you ignore my question and answer a new question.
No, what was your question?
All
What
right.
was your question?
I think you might have moved down to the chopping block for the survivor pool.
Bring it. Bring that shit.
That's highly frowned upon to be asked a question and completely ignore it and make up a new question.
I agree. I agree. I felt like I had to do it to sort of to support Earl, who's not here. So look, ask me the question again. I'll give you a direct answer.
Were you happy with last year's season?
I was happy. I was happy for these reasons. Number one, that we had we finally have a coach who can coach. Number two, that he got us on the winning side of things because we had been 5-7 under Pruitt a couple years before. And number three, I really like the direction he's got us headed. So I would like for us to have won all of our games, but I was happy with the way that he turned it around so quickly. Yes.
Zach, do you have anything to add to that? Were you happy with last year's season?
Yeah, I mean, it was better than everybody thought it would be. Everyone thought we were gonna win 4 games. So
I think there's a lot of positivity to take away from your guys' last season and also like what you guys have going forward. So
I mean, you can't go from a 500 team firing your coach to a national title in a year. So progress is all you can celebrate.
But you can do it in 2 years, so get ready, motherfucker.
the bar is super low because you guys really haven't done shit and you've had really bad coaches. What, like three really bad coaches that you
Kiffin, Dooley, Butch, and Pruitt. So 4, yeah.
Yeah, those guys all sucked. So
I'll be honest. When we hired Pruitt, I was like, fuck that guy. Like before he even coached a game, I was like, he's a scrub. I don't want him. And nothing that he did changed my mind. Apparently, him and Garantano were just fucking each other because he let that guy start for 3 years, who didn't even know how to throw a football. So
he's in the NFL.
yeah, I'm sure he's riding the pine somewhere.
Nah,
He
he got drafted second round, 49th pick.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Who got drafted then in that spot?
Huh?
Alante Taylor, bitch.
Alante Taylor. Hey, Garantano, however you say his name, he is on a roster, I think.
I'm serious. Yeah. He didn't get drafted, but he's on a roster.
Yeah, but he's just going to be on the practice squad. Listen, I've never in my life seen a worse quarterback for Tennessee football than Garantano. Never, ever.
True. Peterman.
He plays for the Cardinals.
You remember
Peterman's better.
No, do you remember his first game? He threw 5 interceptions.
We've had some stinkers.
And you know what you said before he came in? You said I like this Peterman guy. And I'm like, I bet you do.
Hey, we've had some stinkers. That's the way it goes. Garantano, man. Listen, I have no clue. I do agree with Zach. I'm not sure that they were they were intimate, but I do think that it was weird that he just kept rolling him out there and the dude can't complete a pass. I think at one point during his last season, he literally had thrown more pick sixes than touchdowns for us.
He threw 2 pick sixes in the same fucking game against Kentucky.
Yeah.
Our offense scored 7 points that game.
There's only one way to explain his playing time. And I agree with Zach.
I gotta go. All right, so we're good for the next episode 3. We kind of have an outline of what we want to do, and I will get with you. See you.
All right. See ya.